Hello and welcome to the VickyCharles.com podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. For those who don't know, I am a blogger and social media trainer, and I'm here to help you with all of your blog and social media needs. The show notes for this and all previous podcasts can be found at VickyCharles.com/podcast, and you can sign up to my mailing list to download a free sheet of social media tips at VickyCharles.com/social. This week's episode, number 47, is 4 things that you can do with Facebook Insights. So let's get on with it. So welcome to episode number 47 of the VickyCharles.com podcast. This episode is 4 things that you can do with Facebook Insights. And tip number 1 is to figure out when to post. So if you go to Insights and Posts, it will give you a graph that shows you when most of your fans or likers, whatever you call them, are online. You can use that to figure out the best time to post. I would definitely not recommend only posting at that time, but what I would recommend is going in and making sure that at that time, when most of your fans are online, put on some really great content or something that you really want eyes on. So for me, there is no point in me posting at 4 a.m. because most of my fans are in the UK and they're asleep at 4 a.m. But I would post between usually 8 and 9, I think. It changes. You definitely need to remember that this changes. It changes with people's habits, with what's going on. If it's Christmas or a bank holiday, that will change. But also, if you get maybe 10 or 11 more people like your page in a couple of weeks, then that might change your insights. And when most of your fans are online, it might kind of sway it slightly in a different direction. So I always check before I schedule any posts. I will go in and check my insights and make sure of what is the best time to post. Usually for most UK pages, I've found that it is somewhere between 7 and 10 p.m. Check for yourself to make sure which is the best time. For me, usually between 8 and 9, I have a link to an old blog post there because something that I want eyes on, something I want people to see. If I'm going to boost a post, I'll put it at that time of day and then boost it from there. Now, as I said before, that's not the only time of day that you should post by any means. I would post at other times during the day as well. So I have a couple of Facebook pages that I update for clients, and for them I will go into their Facebook Insights, look at their posts, look at their graph, and choose maybe 3 or 4 times of day when most of their fans are online. So never just the one, because that's not going to get you much kind of traction. You want to choose maybe 3 or 4, or just generally, post all day, but make sure that your main post is at that time of day when most people will be online. My second way that you can use Facebook Insights is to figure out what to post. So again, go into Insights and Posts and scroll down past your graph there, and you've got a whole list of posts and how much engagement they've had, how much reach, how much engagement, even down to how many likes, clicks and comments. If you sort that by engagement, it will tell you your most engaged post ever. And it will sort all of your posts ever by engagement. You can see which were the most engaged. You can then decide, what made those posts, why did people engage with them? Was it the time of day, like I mentioned before? Was it the type of post? Was it a video? Was it a picture? Was it, something intensely personal? Was I being particularly vulnerable and people picked up on that and commented? Whatever it was, try and replicate that. And I don't mean kind of cynically, that time that I was really upset about my dog dying, everybody commented, so I'm going to pretend something else has died. Don't be really cynical about it, but just bear in mind, it wasn't the fact that your dog had died, it was the fact that you were being open and honest and vulnerable about being upset. And if you're then open and honest about your worries about something else, or, something like this, people will respond to that. You can also, this might come as a real shock to you and you might think it's something really stupid, but bear in mind that in reality, very few people see what you post on Facebook. Probably only less than 20%, I think, of your people who like your page will see what you post. Even a really popular post, even your most engaged post, was not seen by everybody who likes your page. So there is nothing wrong then in going back, getting that original post and posting it again. Don't do it immediately afterwards. Don't do it within a week. I would say leave a minimum of 3 or 4 weeks, and then you can repost the same picture. Maybe post it at a different time of day, hit a different audience, and go from there. But it's definitely always worth looking at the engagement of on your insights and seeing which posts have done best, and trying to figure out why and trying to replicate that. My third tip for using your Facebook Insights is to figure out who your audience is. So if you go to Insights and People, you can see what gender they are, what age they are, what country they're in. You can really kind of drill down and see what language they're using. So obviously in the UK, everyone's going to be speaking English. If most of your fans are in the UK, they're going to be speaking English. You can kind of figure that out. But you might find that perhaps people in America might have a lot of Spanish speaking people, and they can use that to advantage by posting something in Spanish. Just use Google Translate or something and that's a really thoughtful thing. If I was on Facebook looking at a page that was in a second language to me, if somebody made the effort to write something in my language, I'd love that. But more importantly, you can just see, for example, most of my fans are females between the age of 25 and 34, and they're based in the UK. Most of them are in Salisbury. So it would be pointless for me then to post about something about, a local football team in Harrogate, because stereotypes aside, you can say, well, some women are interested in football. Yes, some women are. The majority of women aged 25 to 34 are not interested in football. And what you're trying to do is hit the majority of the people on your page. So go with kind of generalizations in terms of, women don't like football, men don't like nail varnish, and use that when you do your posts. And that's probably going to sound quite controversial in terms of, not being inclusive and not allowing for the fact that women might like football or cricket or whatever. But like I said, you're trying to hit the majority. And that's where your insights can be really useful, because they can show you who the majority are on your page. And it might surprise you to find out that perhaps the majority of your fans are men, perhaps the majority of your fans are in their 50s, and you can kind of target that with what you post then in future. My fourth and final way that you can use your Facebook Insights is to figure out how people found you. So you can figure out, if you're advertising your Facebook page in 6 or 7 different places, you can see if it's worth your while to do that. Perhaps you're getting a lot of people clicking through from your link in the bottom of your email, or from your blog, or from somebody else's page or something. So if you go to Insights and Page Views, and go to the Page and Tab Visits, you can see if there was a spike on a specific day. What happened on that day? If loads of people visited your page last Thursday, what did you post on last Thursday? Why was it so special? Did you post pictures of pancakes on Pancake Day? Did you post, something Christmassy? Or, try and figure out why there would have been that spike in traffic, and use it to your advantage. Then you can go to scroll down a bit further, and you get to external referrers, and that shows you where most of your page views have come from. So most of mine at the moment have come from Rafflecopter, because I've got a competition running on my blog which says to people they can visit my page and gain another entry to the competition. When my Rafflecopter competition is over with, I'll probably find that most of my referrals have come internally through Facebook, or perhaps from my email, because I send out emails to my clients and also to my email list every week. So that was episode number 47, 4 ways that you can use your Facebook Insights. I would love to hear what you think of this. If you've used your Facebook Insights, have I given you some new information here? Do you use your Facebook Insights in other ways? I'd love to hear from you. Do let me know. Thank you so much for listening to the VickyCharles.com podcast. You can find the show notes for this and all previous podcasts at VickyCharles.com/podcast. And if you'd like a free download of top social media tips to help you get going on your Facebook and Twitter, please visit VickyCharles.com/social to get your free download. You can find me on Facebook, where I am VickyCharles.com or Single Mother Ahoy, or on Twitter, where I am @SingleMAhoy. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll be back next week.